is crazy pants. This is twice I have done this now. Not twice today. Sorry, let me just turn this lamp off. My goodness. This is twice I've gone to upload a video and I've accidentally deleted the root video, so I've lost the whole thing after it had been edited. So we are in my very fancy bedroom because I was set up and I'm not doing it again. I'm Lisa and this is Yarn Over Knit Chat, and it is probably, it's almost 2:30 in the afternoon. It's Wednesday. No, it's not Wednesday. It's Monday. Start again. It's the 14th of January, so it's a Monday. I had this recorded this morning and I've just gone to upload it to YouTube and something went wrong. I have deleted the video. So here we go, we'll start again because I don't want my whole day to be a complete washout. I'm just quickly sending my son, recording again, quiet please, if you come upstairs. My 18-year-old, almost 18-year-old's downstairs in his bedroom. He was trying to help me upload and then when it wasn't working, he's gone back downstairs. So he'll probably come up here going, Mum. Anyway, how you going? Okay, sent. Sorry about that. I'm so sorry. What a day. So, whew. I have just quickly gathered everything back up again and just tossed it on my bed. And I'm hoping A, that I have enough battery, and B, that my camera doesn't fall over. And I am so sorry about having the light right behind us here. Let me just try and not make everything fall over. That a bit better? That is a bit better. There we go. Sorry about the movement. I'm going to try and keep as still as I possibly can. How are you? Because I'm really good. Well, I was feeling okay-ish. I've actually taken a mental health day. They don't exist, but that's what I'm calling it because I'm not unwell as in with physical symptoms and, you know, but I'm not feeling great. I've had a really low few weeks. Anybody who's watched the podcast before knows that I'm quite open about my mental health. I have ongoing, I have depression and anxiety issues. And I'm high functioning with those. I hold down a full-time job and I've always worked and, you know. But every time I have a baby, I end up in a really deep postnatal depression. So I end up with a prenatal and then postnatal depression. So I try and battle through that. But it's kind of really kicked my butt this last 6 months. Has been really, really difficult. And I'm going to say it because I can say it. My 3-year-old's behaviour has been horrendous and I've really struggled to deal with that. And I know a lot of people don't really like to talk about when their kids are naughty because they feel like other parents might judge them. You'll get no judgment from me. It's hard. It's really, really hard. And, you know, my 3-year-old is adorable and we love him to bits. But, gee, he can be brutal sometimes. He can be quite aggressive towards, you know, he acts out and it's hard to deal with sometimes. So my responses sometimes is what gets me upset. You know, I might get cranky with him or, you know, whatever. It's hard work. It's hard work, particularly when you have depression. Or maybe only when you have depression. I don't have any other experience. I have 5 kids. My eldest, Taylor, she's 23 this year. And then I have Billy, he'll be 21. Then I have Connor, who is turning 18. And then I have Ewan, who's 3, and Caitlin, who is 10 months old. And I guess the biggest issue for me, this bout of I was going to say morning sickness. Oh my God, not morning sickness. This bout of postnatal depression is we also had 2 late-term losses whilst having our last 2 kids. So, you know, there's a lot of grief and unresolved grief there as well because, you know, we're both 43 and it was kind of an uphill battle to try and get pregnant and, yeah. So here we are. Here I am. I wanted a day today with no responsibility. So the 2 kids go to daycare on Monday. The 2 little kids go to daycare Monday and Tuesday. And my 17-year-old son is in his final year of high school. We're currently on summer break at the moment, so they don't go back to high school until the end of January. I think he goes back on the 30th of January. And it's his final year, and, you know, I can remember him starting kindergarten like it was yesterday. So this is a knitting podcast. We will get there. It's been a really long time since I have shared anything with you. I mean, I share on Instagram all the time. I'm Yarn Over Knit Chat over on Instagram, but not as often as I'd like on there either. Sometimes I feel like there's a little bit of pressure to have really great looking photographs, and I don't always have time for that. I'm a busy mum, I work, and I forget to take photographs. I forget to take photographs of my kids all the time, and something happens and I think I wish I'd taken a photo of that and I haven't. So I'm terrible, I'm hopeless, and I'm so sorry about this background, but you know, you had me in my craft room this morning, my beautiful alpaca background that I have, but alas, I deleted the video and the light is okay in here. And not only is it about a light issue at the moment, it is stinking hot, and I've got the air conditioning on and a fan, which I've just been aware that you might be able to hear both of them. And I'm sorry for that, but I'm not turning them off because it is really, really hot in here. So here we go. I've been knitting for about 2 years. I do have 2 podcasts that are up. They're not professional, like seriously, like everything else I do. I just give it a go. So my motivation for wanting to podcast was predominantly because I don't have a knit community. I have a local knit shop that I go to, and they're lovely and they know me by name, and it's wonderful, and they're beautiful ladies and I love them. But sometimes I just want to be able to talk knitting, and because I'm such a newbie at it, I feel like a complete dork sometimes talking about knitting, because, you know, I don't always get the terms right or know what I'm doing, and I just kind of, you know, go with it how I feel. Do you like my cup? According to my sister, I'm a bitch, but at least she acknowledges I'm a fabulous bitch. I am fabulous. I'm fabulous in a lot of ways, but I try not to do this one too much, but sometimes my mouth gets me in trouble, which I guess is similar to a lot of people. So I'm just drinking soda water. It's too hot for a coffee, but I had that cup out this morning and I wanted to show it again because my sister's hilarious. She doesn't knit. She doesn't really care for knitted things either, so I made her a hat for Christmas, but I'm hopeless. Pressure knitting, I never get anything finished. So I gave her a whole heap of stuff for Christmas. She loves Harry Potter, so I used this Harry Potter colourway from Lolo Did It called Honeydukes. I'm about to lose my stitches again, and this hat is a tin can knits pattern called Barley. My word, I think I did this better this morning. I'm sure I did. Anyway, I've held this double, and she was like, a hat? It's a bit fluorescent, but there's 14 nieces and nephews, and my sister doesn't have any children, but she is the most amazing auntie that you could ask for. She is so wonderful. She drops everything at a hat, you know, at the drop of a hat, and she's often, we live 2 hours away from the rest of my family, so all of my nieces and nephews live down the coast, on the south coast, down in Wollongong, where my sister lives, where they all live, so I moved up here. And she has them quite regularly. Like this morning I spoke to her and she was taking not only a niece and a nephew out with her for the day, but she was also taking out a friend from her work's little boy, and then another friend and her little girl, and they were going out to a park. Oh, she's just wonderful. She really is. She just took my 17-year-old camping between Christmas and New Year's, you know, with the rest of the family, and he had a really great time, and she's just awesome. She really fills in all the gaps that the rest of us kind of drop the ball on regularly. She's awesome. Knitted things, she's not so, but she will be going to, I know, I thought that was a hole then. No, it's not. It's just a dark navy blue speckle. Excuse me, soda water, maybe burp. I apologise, it was really rude. She goes to a lot of my nephews, and one of my nieces plays soccer, and my nephews play rugby league. She goes to all of their games whenever she can, like her weekends through our transitional season of autumn and then winter, just sport related. She doesn't even have kids, but she's going to all of their games. Other thing I want to say is these needles. So I do make a lot of hats, and I've just recently bought these needles. So these are Symphony needles made by Knit Pro, and I guess they're a birch. They're some kind of timber. I'm pretty sure they're birch. But they are so slick and beautiful, but they're catchy enough for when I'm knitting a hat and I don't really want to be looking down at what I'm doing. They're catchy enough to not, kind of drop stitches too often. They're just lovely. So I've got them in a, oh my gosh, is that 40 cent? I think it's 40 centimeters. So I have them in a 4 and a 5, and they're the needles that I use. So because of that, that's why I have held a fingering weight yarn double, because they're my hat needles. That is all I use, and then I just use a magic loop the decreases. So that's it. I'm sorry about the glare of my glasses and my crossed eye. I can't do anything about that. I was born with it. You've just got to kind of deal with that one. I have. Actually, it's funny. I had a funny thing. I had such an itchy eye just before Christmas, and I said to my husband, "Can you just have a look at my eye? There's like an eyelash, or there's something." I have an eyelash that grows inward. I do have one of those, but it only happens every probably 12 months. It ends up growing in, and I've got to get it pulled out. So I said, "I think that eyelash is in my eye. Can you have a look?" And he goes, "Oh my God, you've got an air bubble on your eye." And seriously, I had an actual bubble on my eye. Went to my GP who sent me directly to an eye specialist, because she was just like, that doesn't look right. Eye specialist had a look at it. She goes, it's just a cyst. Don't worry about it. Do you want me to cut it out now? And okay. So she sprayed something on my eye, and then she just cut it off. And why am I telling you this? Oh, because she said to me then, would you like, sorry, my son came up, even though I sent him a text message to say I was recording. And I said, I've deleted my video, and he said, you've deleted it again. I said, yeah. Anyway, back to the eye specialist. So she said to me, would you like to have your eyes straightened? And I said to her, I've already had 3 surgeries. It hasn't worked. Don't worry about it. I had them when I was little. It doesn't faze me. I really don't care. Actually, it's not true, because sometimes I do get a bit self-conscious when young children notice that my eyes turned the most, and because they're really kind of magnified because my distance vision is terrible. Sometimes little kids will stare at me, and it makes me a little bit uncomfortable. It just takes me back to when I was a kid and I used to get teased horrendously, but I kind of get over that pretty quickly. But then she said to me, would you consider LASIK surgery, because your eyesight is only going to get worse? Because I had a major change in my prescription this year, like major. I couldn't read print writing. It was terrible. So it would have been since the last time I podcast. I had my glasses, had changed my prescription. And I kind of said, oh yeah, that could be interesting. And the more I thought, so what would happen is essentially I'd have the laser surgery and I wouldn't need to wear glasses for vision, but my glasses also pull my eye straight. So the eye that's turned pulls it straighter than what it normally would be. So then I'd be left with a really, seriously turned eye. And I'm not sure how I would cope with that. So then she said to me, you'd have the LASIK eye surgery done and then would go and straighten the eye. But I don't know. My kids have known me my whole life to wear glasses, and everyone who knows me really, I've worn them since I was 3. So I don't know how weird that would be for everybody. But it's something cool. Anyway, moving on. Rambling. Sorry. So, some finished objects. Is that where we were heading? I think we were. So in the last 6-7 months, I've finished a lot of different things, but a lot of things I've given away, and I've kind of tried to get around the house gathering things, and because I've only decided to podcast today on a bit of a whim because I was having this day off and I really didn't want to deal with anyone or anything. So the kids are at daycare, my husband's gone out for a little while, and my son's off probably in the kitchen looking for something to eat or watching Netflix somewhere. So I just wanted to do my own thing, and it really does help me with my mental health, being able to have someone to talk to, even though there's nobody to talk to about knitting, because there's no one else that I can talk to without feeling like a goose. So, for instance, I was at my local yarn shop the other day and said the word sweater instead of jumper. She must have thought I was nuts. In Australia, it is jumper and cardigan, and that is it. But I said sweater, and she probably thought, you're an idiot. But anyway. I never say that. I don't know why I did. I've just been catching up on quite a few podcasts, and everyone seems to be on the sweater phase. So, because it is winter over in the Northern Hemisphere, I guess. So, what I've been doing is working on some little things because it's summer. So, I have finished 2 pairs of socks in the last 6 months, which is huge for me because I just let them languish and, you know, practically grow feet of their own and walk off because they're sick of waiting. So, I'm just looking because there it is. Okay, I do have a whip there. So, these socks are Admiral R. Druck yarn, and I don't remember the colourway, but it's a commercial yarn made by Chappell, and they're really sturdy. They're cozy, they're comfy. I think I did these on 52 stitches. I've got really tiny feet. They're a child's US, like a US size 3. So I could possibly go up 2 stitches because they are a little bit tight around the instep, but with wear that'll just kind of stretch and it's not going to be an issue. It'll stretch enough to be fine and not noticeable. So I just have done a contrasting heel, toe and cuff in Sweet George's Lady Grey. I love this colour. This ball of yarn has just seemed to last forever. I have so many socks that I've done with the contrast of this. I just love it. I actually want to buy it in the Cash Like Spark because I want to buy the Lady Grey. I want to get the mink and the birch because I think in a 3-colour shawl of some description, those 3 colours would just be beautiful. So that's my plan for that. So these socks are mine. I did make another pair for a beautiful friend of mine who I work with, and she's like another daughter to me. She's in her 20s and she's fallen in love with a man in the military, and he's been relocated to Queensland. She's moving away with him, and it's kind of sad to see her go, but you know, move forward and move on. And so I gave her a lovely pair of socks that I did actually knit them for myself. And when I was closing, so they were not contrasting, they were just the one colour, and they were a variegated yarn, and they're beautiful, but I got just sick of the same colour going. So I knew that they weren't going to fit me, and I kept persevering because I finished the toe sooner than I normally would because I was just sick to death of doing them, and I just wanted to get the kids, I think the kids had just gone to bed, and it was like, do the Kitchener toe now or have to wait till the next day. So I Kitchenered up the toe, and I knew they weren't going to fit. They were too short by about 2 rows, so she's got smaller feet than I do. Only children usually have smaller feet than I do. She's got smaller feet than I do, so she's happy to have those. Although she's moving to Queensland, their weather is hotter than ours. You know, wool socks where I am is crazy, and I only do shorty socks. I don't do full, you know, a classic full length sock because I don't think we have the winter to warrant it, and that's what I find comfortable on my calf. So there you go. So she's got a pair of shorty socks, which, you know, she'll probably really enjoy those. No doubt where she's moving to will have, you know, hardwood or tile floors, so be perfect for winter. Okay, so I'll insert a picture of those socks too because they're really lovely, but I don't know, I'm hopeless at taking photographs. Did I already talk about the whole Instagram thing? I'm hopeless. I think about it after the fact. So I've been on a bit of a hat making trek. My husband, myself, and our 2 little ones, Caitlin and Ewan, off to the US in April for it's just under 3 weeks. I think we're going for most of April. I say most of April, just under 3 weeks, and there's like 4.5 weeks in April. We leave on the 6th of April and we get back to Australia. So we leave Sydney on the 6th of April. We arrive there on the 6th of April. We leave the US on the 24th and get back on the 25th. Coming back, we always lose a day. And I think the last time we came back on the 25th of April, which was, how funny is that? So we are flying into San Francisco and staying there for 3 days, and then we're going to Chicago for just over a week, and then we will meet up with Justin, it's my husband, his sister Dale. She's going to be flying over to meet us in Los Angeles all week at, you know, stay in Anaheim and do the Disney thing with the kids. We've been a few times to Disney, both Disney World and Disneyland. My favourite's Disney World, to be honest. I don't know why, it just is. but she's never been, so we're going to spend that week there with her, which will be just over a week. So we'll do that in Universal and a few other bits and pieces. But some podcasters that we listen to in the Star Wars kind of community have said that, who are from Chicago, said that the weather can be very temperamental during that transition season, and make sure you've got both winter and summer clothes. So winter clothes for us in Australia is a long sleeve, maybe a long sleeve t-shirt and, you know, a zip up fleecy jacket or something. That you don't really need a great deal more than that. We do have snow regions, but if you know you're going into a snow region, obviously you're going to dress appropriate. We only go down to single digits here, so I think maybe 2 would be. It didn't get down to 2 last winter, that just had gone, but it did get down there. So I needed some knitwear stuff for the kids and us as well. So I always make hats for the kids. So this is Malabrigo Rios in their English Rose colorway. This is for Caitlin, and the hat pattern is, all these hat patterns are Tin Can Knits Barley. It's a pattern that I really like. I really like the crown decreases on this pattern. It's memorizable, and I don't have to think with it. It's such a great pattern. I can't, you know, and it's free, and I can't kind of endorse it enough. I think it's fantastic. So that's for Caitlin. This is for Ewan. He loves a pom-pom, and his pom-pom needs a bit of grooming because he's been playing with it as well. So this is an Anniversario, I think, the colorway, and it's a Malabrigo as well. I did a duffer on this one. I stopped doing the garter, and I just kept going. I thought, oh my God, what am I doing? This is watching TV and knitting, which I'm thankful that I'm able to do now, not look down at my knitting, except for when I make a mistake like that. So my husband is not a hand knit, handmade kind of guy. He's pretty basic. He likes what he likes, and that's fine. I appreciate that. But I was making him a beanie because I was making one for everyone else. So his is quite a close fit, which is what he wanted. This is Patons or Paytons or whatever you want to call it, extra fine merino, and it is delicious. It is so soft and squishy. I love it. So he's happy with that, and he said he will actually wear it. So he'd better be wearing it. I'm telling you now. And then for myself, I cannot remember the colorway, and I really apologize with another pom-pom that needs a bit of a, yeah, it's a bit, how you going, but whatever. What do you do? So this is a Manos del Uruguay silk blend. So it's, I can't remember the composition. It's wool and silk. I think it's 20, it might be 85-20, 80-20. Might be 80, can't be 85-25. Might be 80-20. It was quite a decent amount of silk in there. It feels lovely. They just feel beautiful. So they're the only finished objects I've got to show. The other thing I did was I had and I've shown it on the podcast before, an absolutely ginormous granny ripple blanket that I was making. And I gifted it to my friend who's just moved away to Queensland. She leaves tomorrow, actually. But she's left us at work. So I gave that to her as well. Finished that off for her with some lovely little tassels. And she's a bit of a snuggle pot. So she'll probably find some comfort in that. And it's lovely and soft. And she'll snuggle up in that. So that's all my finished objects. I'm really conscious of the fact that I've mucked around so much with this podcast this morning about my battery. So I'm sure a warning will go off and tell me, and I'll just deal with it as we go. So lots of works in progress, because this is the works in progress show, isn't it? I have commitment issues when it comes to my knitting. This is a lovely sock that I adore. And I wish I could have everything in this, both colour and pattern. Isn't that ridiculous? These blues just sing to me. So this is, I keep going over here, but my camera's over here. This, and I keep looking over here, but my camera's over here. I'm really sorry. I am. Can you tell I'm an amateur? Okay, so this is Lorna's Laces Shepherd Sock. Don't know the colourway. Don't know. And these stitches are on hold because I do 2 at a time socks, and I'm in the process of, I'll show you. I'll just show you. So the pattern is Apple Blossom by Helen Stewart, Curious Handmade. Just, how gorgeous is that? It's beautiful. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I cannot wait to finish and wear these. See, still shorty. I just couldn't go any longer than that. And that's long for me. I normally would go to here. That would be how far I would go before I started putting the heel in. But the problem I have a heel here again. Lady Grey by Sweet Georgia. I far too eagerly have Mr. Rowe here. See, I think it's 4 rows between the yarn over for the, or whatever you do for the pattern, whatever it is. And I was too eager and I forgot a row. I lost count. I normally use a counter when I'm doing anything like this, and I didn't. I thought, oh, I don't need that. And I'm too scared to actually undo that and start again. That'll be too daunting. I've only been knitting, it'll be 2 years this March, and I'm only just getting a little more confident with things, but not confident enough for that. So I think what I might do is pull it out at least to where I've started the heel, because the other thing is I've done like 2 rows without slip stitching my heel, and I don't know why I did that. Probably because I'm a dork. But anyway, so I think I'm going to pull that out and I'll knit the back of the sock to pattern, and I think I will knit the front of the sock with 1 vanilla row where I will cut, or 2 where I'll do a cut-in heel at the back, not the front. That'd be stupid having a heel on the front. So I think that's what I'll do, because I'm too scared to undo that, to be honest. Which is, no, it's not silly. It's not silly. Some people have confidence in some things and some don't. If we were talking about sewing, whatever, I have lots of confidence in sewing, but I do not have enough confidence yet to think back on knitting. It's just not what I'm confident at doing. So that's where we're at, and I think that's what I'm going to do. But they're in the naughty corner just until I figure out what I'm going to... Look, I have used... This has been heels, toes, and cuffs on so many pairs of socks for me. I just have so much of this. It's like the never-ending ball. Never ending, which is fine by me because I love it. Although, this might be the second one. Okay. That is that. What else have I got to show? Oh, this is a bit sad, really, this one. I've shown this before. I've done a lot more of this too, but it still saddens me. This is Like a Cloud by Howie Locatelli. And I am going to pull it out. I'm going to pull it out for 2 reasons. One, I think I might be a little bit too old at 43 to be wearing pink and purple unicorny sparkles. So I'm going to pull this back, and I have got like a whole heap of yarn in here. I can't remember if it was 3 or 4 skeins, but that's the skein. It's gorgeous, isn't it beautiful? So lovely. I think this needs to be something for Caitlin rather than for me. So I think I'm going to pull that back and hold it double, because I really don't want to make too many fingering weight jumpers, I said sweatings, in my life. So I think that's going to be for Caitlin. The thing that I am most anxious, one of the things I'm really, really anxious to get finished is one of the things I'm really, really anxious to get finished is another Howie Locatelli. And I say this is my interpretation of her 3-colour cashmere cowl, because none of these fibres are cashmere, and that's fine by me. It's alpaca, and it just, as soon as I pull it out, my nose starts itching because it sticks to everything. I just love the look of it. I love of her pattern, and this is like I think this was meant to be like 3 colours, and I did 4, and whatever. Those who have made them know, and they seem to be like a real it's just a re-energized kind of vibe on this, because I've seen a few podcasters just recently are doing these. I know that the Yarn Hoarder has just finished one. She's just had on her last podcast. Maybe the Fat Squirrel. I'm not. Maybe. I can't remember. Anyway, Fat Squirrel Speaks. Maybe, I can't remember. But my yarns that I'm using. So this is a Manos down here, and I can't remember the colorway because. And I just realised this before when I was podcasting. I know why it is. I normally keep all of my ball bands, but what has happened is I've been probably the last 4 or 5 months, whenever I buy yarn at my local yarn store, I get them to wind up for me. And I think I'm just not bringing home the band. And yeah, I'm just not bringing home the band. Or the band's just going, when I put the bag in the recycling, it's just, when I put the bag in the recycling, that the band's still in there. And whatever, you know, it's... Only I need to know that, and I know it when I purchase it. I just don't remember it afterwards. Although it's helpful, the yarn store just does keep a record of all of my purchases. So if I wanted to know, I could call them and ask them what it is. So the grey is Inca Spun 100% baby alpaca. So it's a Peruvian fibre, but it's distributed from New Zealand. Same as this here. This is a wool and alpaca blend. So not a baby alpaca, just the alpaca blend. Then we have the Manos again. No, not Manos. I can't say the Malabrigo. If I said Manos, I apologise. It's Malabrigo. And this purple stripe in between is the same brand as this. It's Inca Spun Heritage. And it's lovely. So what I'll do next is... I think I'm just about done on my striping. I think what I do now is move directly into, and I'm going to do it in the purple. It's a similar, I guess it's another pattern. It's another pattern section here. And then there's a lace section that I'll do in the baby alpaca, and I'll finish off in the Malabrigo. But I want this to take with me whilst we're in Chicago. Hopefully it is chilly enough to be able to wear, because I don't know how often I'll actually get to wear it for our Australian winter. Might be lucky, it might be nice and cold. Although other people are probably saying no, thank you. I actually really love the cold. Oh my God. I've had my legs crossed, so my knees are a bit achy. Okay, so what else have I got here? What am I currently working on? And oh, bum. I'm going to have to do some rustling in a minute because I have something down there that I want to show you as well. It's on the floor. This is a shawl by the, oh my God, I'm all tangled up here, by the Grocery Girls, Jodie Brown, and I'm showing it to you backwards. So it's a shawl called Malibu, and I just love these drop stitches. How fun are they? It's like you feel a bit naughty dropping them. Like you're doing the wrong thing. Anyhow, so I'm using 3 colours. I think it is a 3-colour shawl. So down the bottom here we have Madeline Tosh 80-10-10 in a sport weight, and that is steamer trunk. And then you can see that I've graduated in this purpley mauvey colour, and this is another Madeline Tosh in 100% superwash, and that is antique quilt. I love it. It's in the store it looked really grey, and I thought it was fantastic. And on my Instagram I had actually started knitting this with that baby alpaca that I just had in the cowl, and decided I didn't like the way the drop stitches looked, and you know, I think I dropped a stitch. I was holding it double, and I dropped one of the strands, and it was just, I thought, no, I'm not dealing with that. I pulled it out. I wasn't happy anyway, so I am super happy with this. So I'm going to, oh man, I'm so disorganized. It is terrible. Oh, here it is here. So I'm going to then integrate this 3rd color, which is tangled up at the moment. What is going on? I do not know what's going on here. Okay. Somehow I have got 2 ends out, which I shouldn't have. So this is Lolo Did It's Blackberry Jam. How gorgeous are those colours? They are so beautiful. So this is her Whole Lot of DK. So this is 85% Woolworth and 15% silk. Is that right? Yeah, and 15% silk. It's lovely. The drape of this is fantastic. I'd started a beekeeper in this, but that pattern was a bit too complicated, and I don't know who I think I am. I'm no Ann Budd, that's for sure. I'm only just starting this game, and I don't know what I was thinking picking up a pattern like that, because it was too much for me. And I knew that going in. I thought it would be a challenge, but with a 3-year-old and at that point, I think she might have been 6 months old, maybe even younger than that. That was crazy pants. No way. So what I'm doing with that is integrating it into the shawl, which I think will look fantastic. When I first held it up with this antique shawl, I was like, yeah, I don't think so. But there are some beautiful, darker burgundy highlights in that, and I think it will really pull that out. And yes, they look like they're a different weight. This is a DK, and this is a worsted. But they, I think they'll be fine. Whatever. Everyone can be friends in my knitting bag. We can all be friends. So that is what I'm going to do with that. So I also, I have 2 skeins of these, and those skeins are quite generous. I think they're 250 grams each. So it also will afford me enough yarn to make a cardigan out of, which I'm going to do for Ewan. So I'm going to make him the antler cardigan, and I guess traditionally it looks like it's more for a female child, that antler. I might be wrong, but I don't really care. It's a really lovely pattern. It's beautiful, and that pattern it's one of the Tin Can Knits patterns that goes from newborn right up to 3 or 4 XL. So I'm not, whatever, I think he'll look lovely in it anyway. That colour will look stunning. He's a little ginger nut. He's so beautiful. So he's just going to look lovely in that colour. So I'm excited to start that, but starting that is like daunting because it means I actually have to start it and finish it. And I hate pressure knitting, I really do. In terms of Caitlin, I have a pattern that I was thinking of for her, which I won't make with this because I need to hold this double. It's a lace pattern, and I don't think, I just don't think the lace will, it just won't do the lace any justice. So, I don't know if anyone's got any suggestions. She is 10 months old. I don't know what I'm going to make for her, but I want it to be really cute and sweet, and yeah, that's just how that will go. Okay, where are we up to? What is in here? Oh my gosh. I was seriously about to show you my shame, which is all my needles. I don't have a pretty case for them. I'm going to make myself one. I have, see there's those symphony needles. They are just so, aren't they gorgeous? They are so lovely. They are so, so lovely. When I first learnt to knit, I went to the Wool Inn, and the lady there suggested that I try knitting with bamboo needles or wooden needles first. And I did. And I had I think it might have been 100 centimetre, and it was a 5mm needle. I don't know where that thing went. And it was lovely to knit with, and I just don't know where it is. And it was one of these brands, and I was so happy that they had these in stock when I went in, because they're lovely to knit with. They really, really are. But my go-to, Zings, the interchangeable needles. I love them. I've got doubles of them. They're all over the place, but they're awesome. They're so awesome. So most of the things I knit with have Zings hanging out of them one way or another. So this was meant to be something else. Well, this was something else. I was too lazy to even pull this off the needles and just started with another ball. I need a good smack around the ears. Okay, so this, which I will have to pull out because I need that 7mm needle, and I don't have doubles of those. I don't have doubles of 6s or 7s or 8s because I don't use them very often. And these are a 6. So I started knitting this, and this is called a Nikia by Marie Green, and it's a lovely tunic, kind of short-sleeved top with a lace panel kind of down the front, and it's really, really sweet. But I decided it's maybe not for me, this colour in a short kind of fitted tunic. I need a bit of contrast. Muted colours tend to really, really wash me out, and I should know better than that. And it's because it's blue. That's the only reason I bought it, because I see blue and I go crazy. I don't know what is wrong with me. Am I the only person? You know, I know I'm not the only person who does that. But I see blue and I go nuts. So I've pulled that out. So what this is a cotton core. Whoop, where's my camera? Sorry. This is a cotton core that has been blown, so it's had fibre blown into it. So it's the merino blown in. No, that's not gonna. Nope. Okay, never mind. So to me, that's a very similar look and composition to the Woolfolk Luft. I might be really wrong because I've never touched or felt that, but from what I've seen, it looks to be pretty similar. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. What do I know? I'm a newbie, and I apologise, but I have a feeling that it is. So with that in mind, I really am interested in the Turtle Dove jumper, sweater, whatever you want to call it, from Espace Tricot. It's just such a classic lined jumper, and I'm really keen to kind of see how that would look on me. I think in a longer, looser garment that this colour would be okay against my skin. There was a more denim colour when in the store when I was buying this, and I didn't get it because I always fight and rebel against buying blue, even though I know how much I like. For some reason, I think I don't love it, and I do love it, and I go back to it, and it's stupid. But I should have just stuck with it, and I didn't. So now I've cast it on, and I don't know, and it's so funny because the last video I said, by the time I put this video up, I might have cast it on, and I have, and then whilst I was trying to upload the video. So I'm going to just see how that goes. So that is that yarn that I'm using that I just showed you. So that's Cartier Concept Extra Fine Merino. Yeah, so I think it's 50 grams per ball. And when I went into my local wool store the other day to see if they had if they had any more and what the lot number was, because I only have 5 balls, and to make the Turtle Dove I think I need 8. So yay, I'm good with numbers, and that was the number I remember. I keep looking, I'm really sorry, I keep looking at myself rather than at the camera. Nerd alert. What would I know? Sometimes I don't even know if I'm coming or going. So that is that. So then I have to get off and go get this over here, and I'm worried that the camera's going to fall down. If it does, I'll edit that out and we'll all be okay. Going gently. Haven't even given this project any love yet. It's still sitting in the plastic bag from the shop, which they don't normally give plastic bags. They give these lovely their own branded kind of reusable bag, but I didn't get one this time because I felt, I don't know, I have so many of them. What am I, it's only so many bags you can use. Okay, so this is the Featherweight cardigan by Heather Feddick. Heather Feddick, because I said feather. And this is Wollmeister. And the colorway is my old blue jeans. And look, seriously, that is one hunker chunker skein. And look, you know what? I just don't even think being in the skein, it gives it justice. I could have cried tears of joy when I saw this. So these are normally, I think they're about $96 Australian. And when I got it, it was on sale, and I think I only paid about $65 for it, which I was like, whoa, 300 grams, 1,500 meters. That's like, you know, 1.5 kilometers. That's a lot of lace weight yarn, and I didn't think of that at the time, did I? All the color, I just got excited that it was on sale and that it was blue and delicious, and Now I've got to knit 1.5 kilometers of dark lace weight yarn, which is a little bit daunting. But it's not a race. It's not a race. And if it takes me 5 years, it'll take me 5 years. It won't take me 5 years. But so far, this is all I've managed. And yep, you can't see anything because of the light. I get it. Oh, look at that little, wow, how lovely is that? The light's coming straight through it. I get it. I know. But it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful. And I'm going to be so in the middle of a row to show you something. Yeah, that's me. Middle of the row, Lisa. Yep. This is beautiful. I cannot wait. I can't wait. I can't wait for everything. That's why I cast everything on, because I can't wait to have everything and to wear everything and to show people everything and to do everything and to try everything and to buy everything. Oh dear. Now, somewhere around here, I have to get one more thing, and I apologize. I'm sorry. I just did a big no-no. So I went down to get this, which was in my craft room, which you've got to go outside the house and down to where our garage is. We're having like a 35, 36 degree day, and I live in a national park. And the last 2 days, so today is so Saturday, my husband was mowing the lawns and found an eastern brown snake, which, Google that. It was a baby. Where there is one baby, there are more babies. And I stupidly just ran outside with no shoes on. And it wasn't until I kind of got down to my craft room door that I realised I had no shoes on and I actually wasn't watching. So we likely have more snakes or more hatchlings in our yard, but we just haven't seen any yet. Most snake bites that happen around houses, so around the dwelling. So you've got to be really, really careful. And the babies can get inside, and they are just as venomous. They are just as venomous as the adult snakes. So, oh my God, why did I do it here? The background is terrible. My blind, the length, this is lazy. I need to drop the length of that blind because it's too long for that window, and I haven't done it yet. It's just sitting there. So what I'm going to show you at the moo is on the Spice Market. I know you all would have seen them. And my gorgeous black and white printing. Isn't it fabulous? Black and white. You know, you can really see. Can't see anything. It's how ridiculous is it me showing you that. So I love this pattern. This is like, really does it for me. It's fabulous. So here we go. We're starting down here. So yes, on the Spice Market by Melanie Berg is only 6 colours, but these little colours that I have came in a kit, and they're the Katia Ombre. They're 100% merino. They are gorgeous. So it's extra fine merino. They are just, oh, they're so delicious. But with the meters that I had of those, it wasn't going to be enough for this shawl. So what I did was bought this. It's an Italian extra fine. It's just this natural colour, and it's just as equally delicious. It knits up to the same gauge as the Katia, which is gorgeous. So I added that because I knew at some point I wasn't going to have enough of the ombres for what I needed, and I've got one more repeat left to do of this section. This stitch is gorgeous, and you can't really see it because of the alpaca. So this grey is a baby alpaca, and this is where my issue lies. So the alpaca in this section down here is beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love it so much. However, I do not love it up here. It's going to be a heavy shawl, and it's going to really stretch and pull. And I don't like how it looks on the ends at all. And on my shawls, I do an extra yarn over at the edges, and then I drop that extra yarn over to make the hole just a little bit bigger, and it just gives it a little bit more give, which is fine here where all the alpaca is. That's fine. But when you move up here, boyo, it's a mess. It's awful. So I'm going to pull that out. I'm just going to pull it back down to here. and I'm going to find another grey that is similar colour because I love the contrast. I'm going to find another grey that is similar. I'm just going to leave that alpaca in down there because I am not pulling all of that out and starting all that again. I'll just find a grey that is very, very similar to this and omit that grey and just keep going. I'm just, you know, it's not really going to matter. I don't think it's really going to matter. I really don't think it'll matter. I'm saying that as though I'm trying to reassure myself, and I probably am, but I'm just not, I don't know. So then I've got like now 5 balls of this delicious baby alpaca that I don't know what to do with because I don't know what to do with it. I don't know. I don't know. I will have a look on Ravelry and find something if there's, you know, I'm sure there's projects that are listed with that particular yarn. So the reason I went and dragged this out is I wanted to have a quick chat about project bags. So I have 2 little ones and I love project bags, but I am only working part-time at the moment because I'm taking care of children and, you know, whatever. I'll go back full-time once the kids are a little bit older. So I often am shoving in a project into a nappy bag or my son's backpack or something like that to take along with us. So I'm not having so many bags. I don't take like a handbag for myself. I'm generally shoving something in somewhere. So I like these waterproof bags because there's like sippy cups in the bag and there's, you know, banana skin usually someone's chucked in the bag and all sorts of things happening. So I try and keep it as waterproof and sensible as possible. I love, oh, that's close. Sorry. See all my wrinkles and pimples and unwanted hair? So these are great. I love them and you can just chuck them in the wash, but they're not waterproof. And I've had a pair of socks get wet from my daughter's nappy bag. I had a water cup, sippy cup kind of leak in it. So they're great. And for me at the moment, out of reach in affordability because the Australian dollar is just bombing out and not doing very well at all. And, you know, buying anything from overseas at the moment is kind of not ideal for us. I mean, we just went and had some dollars exchanged before Christmas for my husband's sister who's coming overseas with us. She has never been to America and, you know, just to kind of get her a little bit excited about her holiday, we decided to give her some cash, American cash, as part of her Christmas present. I think the plan was that my husband was just going to slip in $100 with her present. So he did that. But it cost $144 to exchange. And that was like, really? Seriously? That's what we're going to have to pay? Like, that's incredible. Another time we've been over, we were ahead. So it was quite a few years ago, maybe 7 years ago. Our dollar was ahead. So that wasn't the last time. That was, I think that might have been the first time we went actually. We were, I think, $1.03 at the time, and it was fantastic. It was like, woohoo, you know. It was great. It felt like we kind of had won the lottery, even though it was our own money. But because the dollar was doing so well, like our Australian dollar was doing so well, it was great. But this time around, yeah, not so happy. So I would love to be buying the project bag, you know, and I don't know any Australian project bag makers. So if you happen to see this, somebody, and you know of somebody, please comment and let me know because I'm not aware of any. I haven't seen any on Instagram. I'd love to. I'd love to be able to purchase locally, both yarn and bags. So, you know, feel free to point me in the direction of makers that you think are Australian, that you think have a really good product. Yeah, I'd love it. That'd be great. Yeah, so going forward for me, I would really like to make a commitment to being able to podcast more regularly. But with my little kiddos at the moment, that's kind of a bit difficult, and particularly with, you know, with my depression. So I am seeing a counsellor and I am trying to get on top of things, but I just get really overwhelmed. Basically, I have really, really low self-confidence. I won't say low self-esteem. It's not my self-esteem. It's my confidence. Like, I don't have a great deal of confidence, and I don't have a solid kind of group of friends that I can rely on outside of work. Like, I have some good friends at work, but I don't really see them outside of work. I'm not quite sure why that is. Maybe I'm a bit of an oddball, and I get that, but that can be a bit hurtful sometimes, that people don't want to interact with me other than with social media. But everyone's got their own life, and that's fine. I'll just have to learn to get over it. So until I can kind of get a handle on my depression again, I kind of need to put some things on the back burner. Although it's amazing how buoyant I feel now after recording this morning. This morning I felt like quite down, but now I feel quite buoyant, and you know, I'm aware I'm not looking at the camera. I should be looking at the camera, which is right there, but I keep looking over there. Sorry, it's that confidence thing again. Yeah, so when I know how I'm doing, I can kind of make a bit more of a commitment. It'd be nice to say I'll do it monthly, maybe every other month. I don't know. But one thing I did want to talk about was my Christmas. I had such a fantastic Christmas. I had all of my kids here. So I've got 5 kids, as I've said before. I've got Taylor, who's 23, and Billy, who's 21, and Connor, who's nearly 18, and then Ewan, who's 3, and Caitlin, who's 10 months. And they were all here and my 2 older kids don't live at home. They live with their partners. So my daughter and her partner Adam were here, and my son and his partner Elise were here, and we had such a good day. It was really, it was so hot, and someone had the crazy pants idea of sitting outside under the cabana, and we had lunch outside. We had beautiful seafood, and we, you know, normally do traditional roast for Christmas, but last year's, so 2017's Christmas for me went a bit rogue because I was on bed rest with Caitlin. I was pregnant with her, and I wasn't allowed out of bed, so I'm the one who does all the cooking for Christmas, so it was kind of a bit, you know, I was really heartbroken. I really was. But it taught me a lesson. So someone said to me, you just need to let it go and just have a rogue Christmas and let the family just do what they, you know, can do, and everyone chip in. And it was great. We had such a good time. I just want to move this over. We had such a good time. And then this year I just thought, forget it. So we bought our turkey and we cooked it, and then we refrigerated it, and we had it cold with salads and seafood, and it was fantastic, and the company was great. And my husband's sister, who we've had a very estranged kind of relationship on and off with over the years, since we've had Ewan, we're really happy to have her back in our lives. It's wonderful. And she's had some mental health stuff that she's had to deal with herself and process, and we all do. Some of us deal with it better than others, and she was, you know, has dealt with that, and she's such a fabulous auntie to Ewan and to Caitlin, and you know, she came for the day, and it was really, really good. We had such a good time. Yeah, and I just wanted to share that because we didn't do anything special, and we didn't, you know, we just being together as a family it was really meaningful. And having the kids here, and then the older kids, so my older children have a different dad than the younger 2. So my husband and I have our younger 2 children, and my ex-husband and I have our older 3 children. So they went down to their dad's house together. They all got in Adam's car, which is Taylor's boyfriend or partner, sorry, they live together. They drove down to Wollongong, and they all haven't been, the 3 of them haven't even been together for such a long time because they're all, you know, leading different lives and whatever. So they had a really good time, and they spent that time with their dad and his extended family, and it was great. And then on the Boxing Day, we didn't do much. I think we stayed, oh my God, Christmas night, I'm putting Ewan to sleep, and my husband has the hallway light on. I'm like, what are you doing? You're going to wake him up. We had white ants coming through our light fittings, like hundreds and hundreds. And he just said, we can't stay here tonight. We have to go somewhere. This is Christmas night. So he got up in the roof, and they were everywhere, thousands and thousands and thousands of them. We were so terrified. We thought, so he let off some bombs, you know, I don't know what else to call them. They look like the spray, but you set it off, and it's a continual thing. So we left, and we went and stayed at, packed up the kids and our stuff, and went and stayed at his parents' place for the night, kind of at 11 o'clock at night. And his parents are elderly, and well, not elderly, but older. They're in their late 60s and early 70s. So, you know, it's a late night for them, and we kind of lob up on their doorstep. Neither of us slept a wink because we were so terrified about, you know, coming back and seeing a pile of rubble ants had eaten through our house at night. So what has happened is we've just had, they're called whirlybirds, I don't know what else they're called, installed in our roof just before Christmas. And what we think has happened is a queen has come in through the roof cavity, and then she's laid thousands and thousands of eggs, and that has kind of what's come. So those bombs that my husband let off on Christmas Eve actually killed them. My father-in-law said, no way, they're not going to be killed. You're going to need an exterminator to come in. They're going to need to do a proper job. That's not going to work. So anyway, they all died. They all died. And we spent days vacuuming up the mess that they made, because they came through all our light fittings, which have only just recently been fit as well. So we had the electrician up there in the roof, and he would have told, he's a friend of ours as well, he would have told us if he had seen something sus going on. So he's an electrician and you know, really high caliber, and been doing his job for a really long time. So we know it's only a recent thing. It was so scary. It was so scary, because we just did not, you know, this is the first time that we've owned. I think we've had this house for 7 years this year. And we were just terrified, because you just, it's a house. We know it's a house, but that, you know, it's a lot of money you invest in a house. And it was just so terrifying to think that something completely out of your control could take over, and, you know, that's it. Your house is at risk, and what do you do? We don't have thousands and thousands of dollars sitting around for repairs or to replace our house or anything like that. We both work really hard to pay our mortgage, and yeah, it was a bit of an eye-opener. It's such a wonderful day, Christmas. I'm just glad that didn't happen Christmas Day while everyone was here, because it would have really kind of spoilt the day. Yeah, so yeah, but anyway, I've had an interesting 6 or 7 months, and I've kind of been up and down and all over the place, and I've probably been all over the place with this as well, and you think, what is this lunatic ranting about? But if you come along to watch, I'm really pleased to have you here. And yeah, I'm just a simple, straightforward person who loves knitting, and you know, I try to be kind-hearted to people and thoughtful, and I often think of things after I've done. I think, oh, why didn't I say that? Or why didn't I do that? But yeah, I am who I am, and you kind of get what you see with me. You know, pimples and wrinkles and chub and all, and you know, I hope you come back and watch again. If this is the first time you've seen this one, you know, I do have a couple of other ones, you know, whatever. I'm just getting started, and I don't know what it'll turn into. It'll probably turn into nothing. It's more kind of journaling for me in some ways, because I can kind of look back and see myself, not only kind of how I'm faring confidence-wise, but also kind of where I'm at with my knitting and what I'm working on. And I looked at a couple of things today, and some things I showed today were works in progress a time back. So it is taking me time. So it's taken me probably about 5 or 6 months to finish projects. I wish I was a faster knitter. I'm not really a slow knitter either. It's just, I only get to knit a couple of rows a day when the kids aren't around. So, you know, and when they're not around, I'm usually doing, you know, the things that other mums and dads are doing. It's just cleaning and picking things up and trying to keep yourself together and have a shower and, you know, try and spend the time with your partner and all of that kind of stuff. So I wish I had more time for knitting, but at this point I don't. Anyhow, thank you very much if you have watched this. Oh, I almost forgot. My last podcast back in January. Aussie Maria, your bag is coming for you. It really is. I've done nothing. I haven't sewn. I've done nothing. I didn't even bring it up with me. I should have when I ran out to the craft room. It's still in the same condition it was in when I did the giveaway for my last podcast. So what I was turning 43, and I asked people to tell me about a scary age that they, you know, had thought of. And Aussie Maria, God love her, she was the only person that commented, which is fantastic. So I have your details. It's coming to you. I don't know exactly when, but it is yours. And I will also send along another lovely little gift to say thank you very much, because, you know, seriously, you're a gem, and for waiting and being patient. You probably thought, oh, yeah, she's given it away to someone else. No, I haven't. It's yours, and I have your details. I'll email you just before I send it away to make sure that nothing's changed for you, that you're still in the same location, but it's yours. It's a project bag, in case other people are wondering. If you look back at my last podcast, it's towards the end. It's like a natural fabric. It's a canvas with cherries on it and a red polka dot inside. So it's an over-the-arm project bag. So it's yours, and I'm so sorry, Maria. I really am. It's just life has gotten in the way, and time has gone by so quick. I went back to work in September, and it has flown. I cannot believe it's January. Anyway, I will leave you all on that note. If any of these things that I've discussed today, such as postnatal depression or depression in general, have touched a nerve with you, please speak to somebody close to you. You can message me. You know, I don't want to cause any uncomfortableness with anybody. Thank you for watching, and have a really, really lovely day. Take care.